Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thank you for spending some of your time with us tonight. As a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each show segment available. Head on over, and if you like what you hear, we would appreciate your subscription. What's going on, guys? Big Friday. Got the Big Ten back. A lot of stuff going on. How you doing?
A lot of stuff going on. Let's get right to it.
Let's talk some sports, baby. You know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Pull up a seat because you know we got to speak, etc., etc. Don't let that get too far ahead of you. Let's roll, baby.
All right, on episode 11, the NBA rushes to return. Week 7 is upon us in the NFL, and the Big Ten is back in action. We begin tonight with our favorite division in football. If the presidential debate bored you, you might have found yourself watching the Philadelphia Eagles come back to beat the New York Giants 22-21 thanks to a fourth-quarter rally. Giants tight end Evan Ingram dropped a pass that could have sealed the deal late in the fourth. This, of course, gave Carson Wentz time to march down the field, and he found 5'6" running back Boston Scott for a touchdown, icing the game. The clap sends the Giants to 1-6 on the season, while the Eagles stay alive at 2-4-1 with at least a share of first place tonight. So, Jay, real barn burner, huh? What stood out to you in this game?
Well, I have to say it was definitely a spirited debate last night between the two candidates. You know, they covered a wide range of issues. Wait, what? I'm sorry, folks. We're supposed to be talking about this football game that took place last night, not the presidential debate. Back to the NFC East. That debate was pretty good last night, though, in all seriousness. But listen, Giants Eagles, it was a sideshow last night. I don't know if I've ever seen four teams be so bad at the same time. And sadly, we know that two of them are at least somewhat capable. The Eagles with both the Eagles and Cowboys are dealing with some pretty significant injuries right now. But last night, Philadelphia, the inconsistency they showed in this game, because I think we all agreed, looking at their schedule, if they lost this game, it'd be hard to believe to think that they could, overcome a 1-5-1 start, even as just amazingly below average as Dallas has looked. But you got to think about it. They start off with an opening drive touchdown, and then they go radio silent for much of the next 45 minutes of the game. And then, it appeared to look pretty bleak for them when the Giants scored to make it 21-10. I believe they had about 6 minutes left. But then all of a sudden, here come the Eagles. Carson Wentz all of a sudden starts making plays, looking like a top 5 quarterback, which that's the type of quarterback I believe he is. He has not played that way this year thus far. But he started making plays. He made a big throw to John Hightower. I believe that was on the second to last drive. And then the go-ahead throw to Boston Scott. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you're talking about a 5'6" running back on a wheel route right over the top of Jabril Peppers. I mean, it was something special to behold. So Carson, but it's the inconsistency of the Philadelphia Eagles. They have to at some point find some level of consistency. Doug Peterson's got to figure that out. Carson Wentz has to figure it out. I don't know when they're going to have all their players back. That may never happen. But this is something he was able to succeed against last season. I mean, we know this isn't anything new for him. So he's got to be better. He's got to be better at protecting the football. The turnovers, I think, are the biggest issue. There's just too many of those, and he's got to get that under control. If he does, then I think ultimately they'll be okay. And with how bad this division is, I sincerely think that 6-9-1 may win this division. 7-8-1 is a real possibility too, but it's not going to take a lot because none of these teams are very good. On the Giants side, we haven't talked about them a whole lot since last season. I was never sold on Daniel Jones. I know people thought he was, he's actually doing stuff. He looks competent. Well, that's because, the expectations were set so low because Dave Gettleman put up such a reach to grab him at the 6th overall pick because we thought he looked like Eli Manning. That's the reason for that. I mean, the guy made some plays last night. I mean, he's got some speed. We saw that speed was on full display. We saw him on the 80-yard run, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know. You can there are memes galore on what happened to him. I don't know. The irrigation guy put a water spigot up and it got him. What? I mean, even a play that he does right, an 80-yard run results in a flop show at the end. But the Giants, I mean, they put up a good fight last night. You got to give them that. Even with the Eagles' injuries, you'd probably still say the Eagles are still the better team. And even though really they only played, it seems, I don't know, 25% of this game at a relatively decent level, they still figured it out. That says a lot about the Eagles. It also says plenty about how below average the Giants are.
Yeah, to answer your question, what stood out last night, let me tell you something. I don't know what stood out more. Either A, that we actually had a moderator that knew how to do their job last night in the debate, or B, that Daniel Jones was going so fast he didn't realize how fast he can run. But look, here's the deal. A source told me that Daniel Jones was running, and he seen the end zone, and a thought came across his head. Hold on, wait a minute. If I score this touchdown, we might actually win this game. Hey, we can't get Trevor Lawrence by doing that. I got to go down for the count. I ain't trying to be the quarterback for much longer. This team killing me. So, take that for what it's worth. Daniel Jones, I see you. You're doing your part.
Sounds like a hoax.
But with that said, listen, I think that game went, it's probably one of the most – it was a compelling game against between two losing teams, two teams that we could probably qualify as dumpster fires, and they put on a pretty compelling game at the end, to say the least. The problem is that game came on the same time the presidential debate came on, and I'm sorry, that ain't gonna get it. You would have had to put on two teams that people really care about in order for the NFL to hit their numbers when you got the two president candidates, going back and forth. So, yeah, the Eagles. Here's the deal. When I look at Carson Wentz, if you give him time, he gonna deliver. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you give him a chance, he gonna deliver. The problem is they ain't gave him much of a chance. The man out there with Boston Scott was the starting running back. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time I watch the Eagles, it's like somebody not there. Like, somebody that I think is going to be there, and they're not there. Then you got you had Deshaun Jackson, right? So I see Deshaun Jackson finally made it on the field this year. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Deshaun, and him and Wentz had a good little connection going on in the beginning, I said, okay, so Wentz got somebody he could trust. He got a wide receiver out here. And then, you seen what happened to Deshaun Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Poor guy. The guy come back.
It was really unfortunate, man. It was.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that guy got to – come on. He's not going to get suspended for a couple of games. He's not going to lose some game checks. What are we doing here? There's just no point for that. And he's such a no-name. I'm not even going to give him a shout-out. I'm just going to let him continue being a no-name. And God bless you. But all in all, listen – I would say this. I thought the Giants had a chance to actually prove that they was on to something. Like, I think I remember last week when we talked, we was talking about the Giants and maybe they could, get hot and, put themselves in position to win this division just because it's so freaking bad. But last night told me a lot. They ain't trying to win nothing. Nope, they ain't trying to win nothing at all. This is about the best of a New York Knicks clown show you're going to get right here. And I'm starting to wonder, just the state of New York, let me tell you. Last night I heard y'all one of the worst states with the coronavirus. And evidently your professional teams ain't doing much either. So I tell you what, New York is taking those L, folks. But, I thought, to the point Jay made, I thought Wentz showed promise last night. He dropped some dimes. We seen what he did with Boston Scott. But I just felt like all in all, the Giants didn't want it. You had Evan Ingram, had a chance to win the game. What are we doing? We just don't want it. Like, they didn't play like a team that wanted to win in my eyes. And the Giants, for everything they did wrong, they still won the game. Like, we can sit here and bang on the Giants. We got like a 2-page expose of what the Eagles didn't do, and they still won the game. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that's about as much I got on that. Next time, I would tell the NFL, the next time you're going to put on two teams like this, let's just make sure something more important ain't happening on another channel, because this ain't going to get the ratings up, folks.
Yeah, I don't have any good witty debate puns to work in, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll say, for the Eagles side of the things, I think it was obviously a desperately needed win. You can't let the Giants come in there and beat you. Like, that's absolutely just that'd be it. That'd be a fire everyone, turn off the lights, blow up the stadium, just forget about it. So, good on them to find a way to come back. And when you look at the Eagles, we didn't really get a chance, everyone on the show, to talk much about it, but the issues that Carson Wentz was having at the start of the season and how bad it looked for a few games, it never really kind of came up here. But in the last couple of weeks, he's done a lot to kind of push back on that narrative and kind of change the narrative a little bit. But it's funny because some of these players have a reputation, but then when you watch them, sometimes you get a different impression. Like, Josh Allen for the Bills, he MVP season. The last 2 times I watched Josh Allen, I'm like, you don't look any different to me. Like, what, and then the opposite with Carson Wentz. I hear, Carson Wentz is trash. Everyone in Philly hates him. He gets torches and pitchforks every time he goes home to his house. And then I watch him, and I'm like, what else is this man supposed to do? Like, the turnovers really, like Jason, are the only thing you could legitimately go, yeah, okay, that needs to be worked on. But my God, you talking about the fish sticks. Like, he didn't have whole fish sticks. He had like frozen, half cut up fish sticks out there, and he just made it work. 5'6"
store brand fish sticks.
Back. Right. Like, I guess I'll just throw this perfect pass and just win the game. No big deal. So I don't know what else that man's supposed to do. I really don't know. I mean, everyone he has comes back, gets hurt, or is never there to begin with. And the Eagles don't seem like a team that's overly talented, really, anyway. It seems like that ever since the Super Bowl, they've really kind of been doing less with less. They really haven't maintained the winning very well. So I don't know what else he's supposed to do. So good on them to get a win and stay alive in what's not a very competitive division. And for the Giants, I think might be time for a little bit of a fire sale. This rivalry has gotten ridiculous. They've lost 8 straight to the Eagles, 12 of the last 13. I think you could be seeing the last of Evan Ingram in a Giants uniform. You can see the last of Golden Tate in a Giants uniform. A couple other guys you could be on the block. They traded Marcus Golden today to the Cardinals. This was pretty much your indicator that, all right, this ain't happening this year. Like, even at 1-5, you win this game, and it's like, okay, well, maybe we can mess around. And well,
in that division, yeah,
right, yeah. Most divisions, no, you're already out, but they still had some chance, and I guess mathematically they still do. But if you couldn't take care of the Eagles, then who are you going to beat? And it's really, to me, it kind of sucks because I thought this team would be a little bit better. Daniel Jones' second year, he had a couple 300-yard passing games, and I thought they were going to be this like grinding, running football team. And without Saquon Barkley, they can't do that. And they've never really replaced the identity with something different. And I think that what they really need to do is just open it up and let Jones just throw the ball like crazy. I mean, it seems like they try to sit on the lead and just play defense and just like kind of take the air out of the ball, but it doesn't work in these games. They've had a couple games they've lost that were close, and it's a lot of the same situations. They get a little bit of a lead, then they collapse, and the other team's back and win. So they're probably misusing Jones. I don't know if I'd be ready to completely bail on him after what I've seen, but it's looking like this whole experiment is questionable, and they're going to be kind of a rudderless mess until they kind of get a bit of an identity back, especially on that offensive side of the ball. But I think that we could be looking at some changes for the Giants before the trade deadline on November 3rd. So we'll see how that plays out.